Hello and welcome to Design Basics. In this video, we're going to discuss the Shell feature and the Emboss feature. So to start off with, I'm just going to show the model I made. It's just a simple box to start off with. And essentially, we're going to go straight into the Shell feature. So the way it works is you essentially just choose it. You can remove faces and you can choose which direction the wall thickness is going to be for the shell. So essentially the way I'm going to show you this is I'm just going to remove two of the faces right now, just so you can see it. And I'm going to make this roughly, let's say 0.1875 thick. So now that you can see how the feature works, I remove two of the faces. If I press Control and click again, it'll actually bring those faces back, but I want to leave those so you can see things. And essentially the way this is going to work is I have a couple options here when it comes to doing the shell feature. I can have an inside wall thickness, I can have an outside wall thickness, and I can have an in-between. I typically use the inside feature, and the reason is I usually want the outside dimensions of my box to be specific to what I made. However, if you want the inside to be a specific dimension, then you'd use the outside feature. Then you know that the inside is made to your dimensions you want. And if you don't really care, you can use the in-between, but try to keep that in mind when you're using this. So I'm just going to do inside and go OK. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the emboss feature. So I've showed how to use it on a curved surface, but now we're just going to use it on a basic surface. And essentially the way that we use this is we're going to make it plain. And I'm going to just choose a surface like this. So for now, not like that. So I'm just choosing a work plane, and you can actually choose two surfaces that are opposing of each other, and it'll actually split the difference. So then you know this is basically the halfway mark of it. And then essentially what I can do is I can now use the work plane again and offset it. So I'm going to offset it by about 4 inches. And then I'm going to make a sketch on this new work plane. Work planes are very versatile when it comes to a lot of stuff if you need to do different cutaway extrusions, everything. So I would definitely recommend learning how to play with your work planes, which I'll probably go into another video on. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to project geometry, and I'm going to just make sure that that's projected there, and there'll be a reason for that. So the one thing I really like using for emboss is text, because sometimes certain fonts will not register when you do the extrusion feature. So then I would go to my default is the emboss feature. Sometimes you have to play with it either way, but at least it's a good start. So next I'm just going to put my text in here. I'm going to make it 1 inch font height, bold, and I'm just going to make it so that they're both centered. Now that I have this 3D, I don't like how it's sitting right now, so I'm going to actually use the rotate feature. I'm going to choose this sketch, and then I'm going to select a point, any arbitrary point, and I'm going to rotate it 270 degrees, it looks like. And then the next thing I'm going to do is use my constraints to center this about the line I projected. Now that I have it centered, what I can do now is go finish sketch and use the emboss feature. So the great thing with the emboss feature is you can use the emboss face, the engrave face, or the emboss engrave from plane. I'm not going to go into this one because that's a little bit more advanced. We're just going to use the basic ones, but essentially you choose a profile. In this case, it's the font. The next thing you're going to do is make sure that your arrow, if it has it, is in the right direction. So going backwards, and then I'm going to make it 0.125 of a thickness. So when I click OK, you're going to see that it actually embosses it on both edges there. Looks a little wonky because I have it at an angle, but it's essentially the dimension I made straight from that work plane. If I go and right click this and go edit feature again, I can do a cutaway version, and you're going to see that it's going to cut away the material by the specified dimension. So I can actually change this. If I go edit feature, if I didn't like that, I can say 1/16, and now it's there in that essence. So that's how you can use the emboss feature. You can still use it on a straight face as well, but I just wanted to show you that it will work on an angled surface. So if I just quickly do another work plane and have it projected, let's say 1/2 inch this time. And we're going to do the same thing with the 3D. And quickly make it 1 inch, bold, and centered. And then we're just going to quickly center that about the sketch again. Might have to reject that. Nope, I don't. And it's essentially going to work the same way, just on a flat surface. So if I go back to the emboss feature, I can click it. Let's make this a 1/16 this time, a little bit thinner. And if I change the direction of the arrow again, you can see it makes the emboss nice and straight, which is great if you want to add text, or if you want to do a cutaway version, just choose the engrave, and now it's engraved. So that's how you can use the basic versions of the shell and the emboss feature. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, this is Tyler with 3D Printersaur, and I hope you have a great day.